what a doozy. 2024 was, let's say, an interesting one for the Hamilton housing market. From record low sales, which led to improving affordability and growing inventory, 2024 brought a big shift in the market. But what does that mean for 2025? Well, that's what we discuss as we break down the key stats and trends from the previous year and what I'm looking out for in the year to come. If we haven't met, my name is Morgan Little. I'm a realtor here in Hamilton who specializes in helping people move from Toronto to Hamilton. If there's ever anything I can do to help in your journey, feel free to reach out, book a call using the Calendly link in the description below, or simply shoot me a text and I'm happy to connect. Now let's get into it. Starting with a statement from the Realtors Association of Hamilton and Burlington, which read, "The higher interest rate environment and economic uncertainty weighed on the housing market activity in 2024. No doubt. Slower sales throughout the spring season offset the improvements that occurred later in the year as interest rates eased. And as these interest rates have begun to trend downward, some home buyers are taking advantage of the opportunity to enter the market while there's still a good selection of homes available. Although this pace of return has been gradual, the improving rates have sparked renewed interest, and many potential purchasers are starting to feel more confident in making their move." Does that sound like you? Let me know in the comments. Now, let's take a look at what the numbers say. The total sales reached in 2024 across the entire Hamilton-Burlington region were 10,210, marking a slight increase from 2023, but remaining 26% below long-term averages. Around 6,000 of these homes were in the city of Hamilton, which is not a big number. We'll just leave it at that. For the last month of the year, in December, it was a particularly slow month, as generally is the norm, with only 344 homes sold, the slowest month of the year, though it was up 10.5% from December of 2023. So not a banner year by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe a well-deserved breather from the craziness of the previous few years. In terms of inventory, the market saw a rise in new listings, enhancing inventory across various property types and price ranges. In December, we saw 382 new listings and ended the year with a total of 1,400 homes available in the city of Hamilton, which is up 13.5% from the same time last year. Now, everybody's favorite, prices. The average home price in Hamilton was $772,705 in December 2024, reflecting a 2.3% year-over-year increase. Despite this growth, prices remained about 22% below the all-time peak observed in February 2022. And so what effect did all this have on buyers? Well, like I mentioned, early on in the year, higher interest rates and economic uncertainty definitely dampened much of the market activity. But as rates began to decline, buyer confidence improved, leading to some increased market activity. Overall, though the market did end up somewhat favorable for buyers, hesitation due to the economic uncertainty and the instability in the interest rate environment kept many people sidelined for much of the year. Now, will that change in 2025? Well, let's talk about the outlook for 2025 and 8 key factors that I think you should keep an eye on. Number 1 being interest rates, which have been a key driver in the market. I do believe interest rates will remain the most significant factor impacting the market in 2025. We've been seeing them come down, but will that continue? Taking a look at variable rates, which are tied to the Bank of Canada's overnight rate. Any decreases could make borrowing cheaper, stimulating buyer demand. However, rate cuts can also be a signal of economic challenges. And then you have fixed rates, which are tied to the 5-year government bond yield. These rates may continue to move independently of the variable rates. Fixed rates are the most popular option for Canadians, making them critical to keep an eye on. Now, what impact will rates have? Lower interest rates could improve affordability, while higher rates would suppress demand. The interplay between rates and inflation will be a determining factor on the housing market's trajectory. The forecasts from the country's big 6 banks are split on how much the Bank of Canada is likely to continue easing rates in the first quarter of 2025. BMO, Scotiabank, and TD anticipate just 1 quarter point rate cut in either January or March, while RBC, CIBC, and National Bank expect a more significant 50 basis points of easing. The second factor will be mortgage renewals, which will be the real affordability test for Canadians. With thousands of Canadians set to renew their mortgages in 2025, the renewal process will test homeowners' financial stability. Most homeowners were stress tested at 5.25% or higher when they secured their original mortgage. While renewal rates may be higher than their initial terms, many will still fall below the stress test threshold. To lower monthly payments, banks may allow homeowners to extend their amortization periods back to 25 or even 30 years. While this reduces immediate financial pressure, it increases total interest paid over the long term. Third on my list are the new mortgage rules coming into effect, opening the door for more buyers. One of these being 30-year amortization for first-time homebuyers. This rule, applicable to those with less than 20% down, reduces monthly payments significantly, making home ownership more accessible. There's also the CMHC cap increase to $1.5 million. The increase from $1 million allows buyers in high-cost markets like Toronto and Vancouver to access insured mortgages with smaller down payments, potentially driving demand for pricier homes. These rules may bring more buyers into the market, but could also increase household debt levels. Number 4 is a big one, the federal election, currently scheduled for October 2025, but now that Trudeau has recently announced his resignation, there could be calls for an early election. This uncertainty could make buyers adopt a wait-and-see approach, delaying decisions until the election results provide more clarity. I recently did a video discussing Pierre Poilievre's housing and economic stance now that he is probably going to be our next prime minister. You can watch that here. Because a new government is likely to introduce new housing policies affecting affordability, taxation, or supply, adding an element of unpredictability to the market. The fifth factor to keep an eye on is the housing supply and what's being built. There's an urgent need for affordable, family-friendly housing rather than high-priced condos or investment-driven developments, as well as purpose-built rentals, which help renters, though they may limit opportunities for home ownership. A continued lack of affordable options could have the continued effect of pushing buyers towards less expensive or secondary markets. Speaking of the rental market, it looks like we're going to continue to see rising rents in secondary market with falling rents in some of the major cities. This is due to the shift that I talked about, where not only homeowners are being pushed out of major centers due to affordability, but also renters. Some of the biggest challenges have been the high development fees and taxes in 2024, which made new construction unfeasible for many developers, particularly in Toronto and Vancouver. If development remains slow in 2025, it could lead to continued supply shortages moving in the coming years. Lower rates and government incentives may help breathe some life back into the development community. Number 8 on my list is the overall sales volume and whether or not confidence is returning to the market. Sales in 2023 and 2024 were well below the 10-year average. This is reflective of buyer hesitancy among the uncertain economic environment and the rising interest rates we've seen. But lower rates, new mortgage rules, and improved affordability could bring more buyers into the market, increasing sales volume. However, confidence will largely depend on economic stability and buyer perceptions of many of the factors I just listed. But you're doing the right thing by staying informed of these new trends, whether you're buying, selling, or investing. I'm curious, what are your thoughts and biggest concerns about 2025, or do you think the future's bright? Let me know in the comments below, and again, if there's ever anything I can do to help in your journey, feel free to book a call using the link below. Simply shoot me a text with your thoughts, and I'm happy to have a chat. Till then, I'll see you on the next one.